All right, welcome back here to The Hill on NewsNation. So we see polls all the time, but what are the actual odds of winning? Our partners at Decision Desk HQ and The Hill are now able to answer that question as they launch their 2024 election forecast. Now get this, the model is based on more than 200 data points, including demographics, fundraising, and polling. Our partners at DDHQ then take that data and run more than 14 million simulations. So you're probably wondering, where do things stand right now with 160 days to go until November 5th? Well, the model currently has Donald Trump with a 56% chance of winning the White House in November. And it gets better for Republicans from there. Right now, there's a 77% chance of Republicans winning the Senate, 62% chance they do so in the House. With us to discuss the launch of their forecast, Scott Traynor. He is the Data Science Director for Decision Desk HQ. Scott, 14 million simulations. Tell me about this thing and sort of how y'all view it over there.
Well, I got to say, it's 14,605,000. The data science team wants always to remind you that last 605 is real important. Yeah. But I think you hit the high points. Without putting anyone to sleep, polling, demographic data, FEC data, we put that all in there, and we give a probability of outcome if the election were held today. Now, it's not going to be held today. It's going to be held a little over 5 months from now, and so that forecast is going to change.
Why so bullish on Republicans? Donald Trump, it seems like a slightly better than coin flip, but the Senate and especially the House for Republicans, the model shows.
Well, initially speaking, let's start with the House and the Senate. The map for the Republicans on the Senate side is very good. They're going after a lot of seats. They're defending some good seats. The polling and the fundraising data and just the demographic data of the places in the Senate that are contested, Ohio, Montana, those places, very, very favorable for the Republicans, and the model reflects that. On the House, it's bullish on the Republicans to start. We'll see how that plays out as we get more primary candidates solidified in the general election and some of this fundraising and polling comes out. But I expect that to flip too, or at least move around a little bit.
Okay, stand by there for a second. The House, is that a bit of a surprise to you?
Well, as Scott said, there's a lot of football yet to play.
Right, yeah, 5 months.
We got a long way to go. The Republicans are in, it would be hard for the Republicans not to win the Senate, given the condition of the map. Now, don't put it past the Republicans. We said the same thing in 2022. So it depends on candidate quality and all that jazz. The House, though, usually that's going to go substantially with the direction of the national popular vote. The House is roughly reflective of the national popular vote. So if Donald Trump, and as we talked about here Friday, if Donald Trump basically can tie in the national popular vote, he's going to win a big Electoral College victory, and the Republicans will win the House.
What does the national political reporter for The Hill take away from all this?
Look, I mean, at this very moment, when we look at the presidential race and the Senate, definitely advantage Republicans. You know, in terms of the House, look, I think that's a little more competitive. I think that's more difficult for Republicans right now because of their very narrow majority, you know, because of the work that Democrats are doing, particularly in states like New York and California. But we'll see. I mean, I think at this moment of time, and, you know, I think when we look at polls, when we look at these pieces of data, these are snapshots in time.
You concerned?
Look, the weather can change, and that's what we're talking about, the environment, and the game plan can change, but the candidate quality cannot. And in this case, we have folks like Bernie Moreno running against Sherrod Brown in Ohio. We've got Kari Lake DOA already in Arizona, and you're going to tell me that the Senate is a go, and then the House gets even more complicated. But Republicans continue to nominate extremists that are easier for Democrats to run against, which means that even if it's raining, Dems could come home with a victory.
What about top of the ticket for you there?
Top of the ticket is hard, but again, candidate versus candidate. I like Joe Biden's steady wins the race versus Trump's erratic behavior. We see the RNC in shambles, a goat rodeo, as Chris might say, and these are problems. Now, they do have the weather on their side, and that's what we're seeing reflected in the polling as of today. There's work to be done.
Not necessarily a technical political definition,
but
it's
in the books.
And, I mean, look, all the dynamics are in favor of Republicans right now, and Republicans can now run, whether you're running for the House, the state House, the governor, all the way up to president. You can run on Joe Biden's inflation, Joe Biden's border crisis, crime in your communities, Joe Biden's focus on things that aren't really important to America, and Republicans win that argument. Even if you vote against Donald Trump, you might vote for your Republican congressional district to get control of the border.
Thank you for watching, and make sure you go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.